You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You're listening to, watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Well, real estate, rates are going up and sales are going down. Is that an opportunity? Does that make it more difficult for you to make money in this market? Well, Farrah Ali has been at it for 18 years, author, and built up a property portfolio, very impressive. Farrah, tell us, rising interest rates, what effect does that have on your business?
Well, luckily, so right now I own 41 rentals and they're all locked in at 30-year fixed rates. So my cash flow isn't not being affected currently on my current book of it, like the current portfolio that I have. But as far as moving forward, interest rates, I think with anything else, when the interest rates go up, as far as a rental portfolio, yes, the payments are going to be higher, but at least in the market that I'm seeing, as well as which is in the Chicago area, I have properties in the Chicago market and some in Florida as well, that rents are also increasing. So it's kind of, hasn't affected it as much. When you talk about selling, I am seeing, so I've been doing a few flips this year. And, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, when I put something on the market, you would have like 30, 40 showings with 10 to 12 offers. Now it's more like 20 showings with maybe 2 to 3 offers. And I think that's because of the interest rates, where people who were approved for a certain amount, a certain monthly payment, because of the interest rates rise, they are now no longer approved for that any longer. So I think that's where I'm kind of seeing the shift, where it's not affecting my rental market, but it's affecting the flip market.
All right. So I guess worst case scenario, you just hold on to properties and not sell them, right? Just raise the rents.
Exactly. Yeah. That's an option always. Something that I have just started doing, which working on my third one now, is Airbnb model. So with Airbnbs, even with the rising interest rates, there's enough cash flow that you can make, because just depending on the location and area that you're choosing your Airbnbs in, that there's more than enough there. So I'm kind of shifting it over there, as long as the area makes sense and the property type makes sense and see kind of what's around. I've been taking advantage of that.
Right. Do you think we'll get to the point with Airbnb where the market really gets saturated with them?
I think in certain areas, like I've heard that about Orlando, Florida, where it's very saturated. I know at least in the Chicago market and nearby suburbs, that certain suburbs don't allow Airbnb at all. So in that way, there's ways to get around it. Like you can Airbnb if you are living at the property, or it's not considered a short-term rental, which is about a month or more. So there's workarounds around it. But I feel like my mindset is it doesn't matter if the market's going up or down. There's always money to be made.
Okay. So Airbnb, though, is more labor intensive. You got to get somebody to clean it. You got to be more hands-on with it.
Not if you have a property manager.
Okay.
So for example, the one that I just had bought a few months ago, I bought the property for $180,000. I fixed it up for $30,000. I spent another $15,000 to get it furnished, to get stuff assembled, all that sort of stuff. It appraised for $340,000. I was able to refi it, pull all my cash out, and this month in May, I have about $7,500 in income that's coming in from the Airbnb. My mortgage payment is about $1,600. Now, if you take 20% out for property management, 20% of the $7,500 is,
$1,500, right?
Yeah, right. So there's $3,000 there. Plus, let's just say utilities and all that. Let's just say the expenses even come out to $4,000. That's still $3,000 net cash flow coming in for that one property alone for that month.
Right. Do you find that the Airbnb properties present more challenges in terms of your renters and your I guess renters, for lack of a better term, and you never know for sure quality of them, what state they're going to leave the place in. Have you had any negative experiences with Airbnb yet?
So it's been 2 months. So far, I've had zero negative experiences. My property management. So I think it all depends on the management of the company. My property manager makes sure that they ask the right questions. Oh, what are you coming into town for? Things like that. There's also red flags. If somebody's just booking for one night, that's a red flag. But all of my bookings have been for 2 nights or more. So it kind of just depends. If you kind of gauge why they're coming into town. Also, guests have reviews as well. So if a guest has a 5-star review versus a 2-star review, you could always accept and decline.
Yeah, for sure. And occupancy rates, what kind of occupancy rate are you getting on it?
So for the April and May, in May, I was booked every day except for 2 weeknights.
Wow.
April, I had started it early April. I was booked the last 3 weeks of April completely.
Yeah. Well, hey, one other red flag is when they try to rent the last minute.
Yes.
You gotta really be careful of those people, for sure. And
yeah.
So you're going to expand that model to other properties that you own?
Yeah. So I'm currently working on another one on the same block. I haven't even listed on VRBO. I've only done Airbnb, and the fact that it's getting booked so quickly, I have another one on the block that I'm going to be putting up, probably on VRBO, so I'm not competing against myself. And then I'm doing another one in another suburb, like it's 40 minutes away. And my plan for the Florida, because I'm doing new construction in Florida, is to do some rentals, some flips, and some Airbnb models there.
It's interesting. We talked about rising rents across the country, especially here in Florida. But one thing that's been rising faster than rents is hotel rates. Places that were 2 years ago in Florida here, $200 a night, $500-$600 a night, and they're not even that good. And then they nickel and dime you for every single thing on the planet. And God forbid you drink a bottle of water off the shelf there, and that'll be $10. And people are fed up with that. And they're going to Airbnbs like in record numbers because they want to avoid that. But even Airbnb rates have gone up.
Yes, they have. It was funny because last year when we entered me and my partners and friends a lot of us are building out in the Port Charlotte area over there. And when we looked at prices, of houses at what they were being sold for and what the rent amounts were, we estimated that per duplex, we would get about $1,600. In a matter of 6 months, that's shot up to $1,900 to $2,000 for those same exact duplexes. So it's crazy how the rents have gone up. For Airbnbs, we were actually looking for a rental, to kind of work out of. There was nothing available, like nothing decent available at all.
I know. I have a close friend. She's got 3 or 4 Airbnbs in the Port St. Lucie area. Originally, she was renting them out for $95 a night, which is really a steal. And now she's up to $165 and has basically a 97% occupancy rate on all of them. Contracts out some services. A lot of them she does on her own and, is just cleaning up on it. It almost seems too good to be true, though, to go on indefinitely into the future, doesn't it?
Don't just survive. Thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Goldterra Resource Corp is a gold exploration company that has assembled a highly prospective district-scale land position on the doorstep of the city of Yellowknife in Canada's Northwest Territories. Goldterra is currently focused on expanding and delineating gold resources at the company's Yellowknife City Gold Project with a goal of discovering over 5 million ounces. With ready access to infrastructure and multiple high-grade gold discoveries, Goldterra is on track to re-establishing Yellowknife as one of the premier gold mining districts in Canada. Goldterra trades as YGT in Toronto and YGTFF on the OTC. For more information, go to goldterracorp.com. That's goldterracorp.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network. The information you need to thrive now more than ever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, part of it is also there's a lack of inventory and builders can't build fast enough, right? And there's the delay of the material and things like that. So once, that all gets caught up and there's more inventory out there, then I think that'll fluctuate a little bit and it'll bring it back to where it should be, possibly. But I'm just going to ride it out till I can. And property prices are always appreciating long term, so I'm not worried about that.
Inflation is a property owner lessor's best friend for sure.
Yeah.
Change gears a little bit, talk about your book, Diaries of a Female Real Estate Investor, which was awarded top 100 best real estate books of all time. I guess it's autobiographical.
Yes. So it's about my journey, how I got into real estate investing, because when I started, I had no money. I had separated and had walked into an empty house and had to build from scratch. And I did it single mom, raising the 2 kids by myself with no child support. And so kind of like how I did it. And then I have case studies of my actual properties that I did and what strategies I used, what I bought them for, the whole BRRRR process where you refinance them, all of that is in there. So it's kind of like inspiring, motivational, plus also has content in there so that if anybody wants to kind of, get started or wants to scale up, because, it's not just doing one property at a time. I was at one point doing 7 to 9 properties at once, just working for myself. Uh-huh. So how to scale up, where to get the money, all of that.
Yeah, scalability is really important. It's interesting that you just started with nothing and were able to build up this portfolio. I assume using a bit of leverage as well, huh?
Yes, leverage is my best friend. I leverage all my properties, and I've been taking advantage of the low interest rates over the past few years. But I have 41 properties. Probably that portfolio might be worth 7 to 8 million, and it's crazy if I think about it today because I probably only have about $40,000 invested in all of those properties because I was able to refi them with no money stuck.
Starting a business with a little bit of money is often the best way. I found when I started new businesses on a shoestring, they always did better than when I started businesses that were well or overcapitalized.
Yeah, because when you're in that bind, you think of creative ways to do things, and you just invest more time, and you don't have as many resources, so you got to get creative.
Yeah. It's somebody wrote a book about it, The Art of Being Broke or something like that, and it's so true. I mean, the businesses that I expected to really take off, put a lot of money into, often didn't do that well. I'm kind of a startup junkie myself. So 3 pieces of advice you give to any woman starting out or any real estate investor or wannabe real estate investor for that matter, Farrah.
I would say 3 pieces of advice is make sure that you have the right mindset before you start investing. The right mindset means the number one thing is you have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nothing's going to happen. The other is you can't give up. Real estate investing is very, very lucrative. You have to do it the right way. But most importantly, there's going to be roadblocks and hurdles that come in the way. But, just because you put in 10 offers and none of them work does not mean you give up. You keep going. And eventually it's work, but it will work in the future. And then another piece of advice I would say is if you're going to learn real estate, please make sure you find the right mentor. A right mentor means somebody who has done it over and over and over and over again. Not some salesperson out there that's going to sell you on a dream, but look in, ask them, how many properties have you done? Where are your properties? Do your due diligence and then follow their formula.
All right. One other question. Over 55. In Florida, we have a lot of these communities, and the demographics for the demand in the future are just sky high. And, they're building a lot in Florida, not as much over 55 in most places. So kind of becoming scarce, like mobile homes. Do you have any eyes on the over 55 market?
Not at this time. Right now, I'm just getting my feet wet with new construction building. So I think once I build a handful of these and get to know the Florida market even more, yes, if I see that there's a need for that, that's something that, I'm definitely open to. Wherever the money goes, I go.
Yeah, well, I just see demand taking off there. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think you want to get into assisted living, independent living facilities, but assisted living is a whole nother business. Hey, people want to find out more about you, Farrah, and connect with you on the web. How do you do that?
So, Diaries of a Female Real Estate is on Amazon. You can purchase that. I have a website, farrahali.org, which kind of talks about like a little bit about my book, a lot about me. And then I do have an online course called Getting Primed for Real Estate Investing, which is on my website. And then also I am on Facebook and Instagram as well. Farrah Ali, you can find me on both of those platforms, connect with me, and I'm always posting stuff there.
All right. And if you have a question for Farrah, you can always shoot me an email to kl@kerrylutz.com and we'll get you an answer. Go over to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. You're probably there now. The show notes, just click any of the links. We have Farrah's link in there and the Amazon link for her book. Really appreciate you coming on, Farrah. Happy investing, and I know we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Kerry.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.